What's up with all the tattoos, man? What's going on? You got.
What? You want to know the truth?
Yes, I want to know the truth.
All right, brother. I got tired of my face, man. I had that face for 28 years. I wanted a new face.
Something major happened to him while he was locked up. And this him when he first went in. And they're saying he lost a spark in his eyes that he once had. And something majorly wrong allegedly happened to him.
One person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is.
Why is your whole face covered in ink now? Bro, for real, what's the story behind all those tattoos? You really want to hear the truth? Yeah, I do. Lay it on me. All right then. I just got tired of looking at the same face. I spent 28 years staring at it. I figured it was time to switch things up, time for a brand new version of me.
Is the new Blueface. Very, very different. There's a lot going on over here. I feel like somebody forced him to do this. This wasn't consensual.
Name one person in Hollywood who ever rocked a dress and failed. You can't, right? That's how you start to see what a real ritual looks like. Want to uncover more of these shocking behind-the-scenes truths? Keep watching. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
I'm second to myself. Second to myself, man. Get out of here. You know what I mean? Gotta let them know what time it is. I'm dead on me. Go crazy.
This is a new Blueface, completely different. There's a lot happening here. It feels like he didn't fully choose this for himself. This wasn't voluntary.
That's what makes information so powerful is, you don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about, does following the ritual work? Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is.
I come second to no one. Straight up. I answer to myself first. You feel me?
So 20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I was a prophet. It's just I had gotten so much information that I understood that things are secular. So I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things would become popular in the future. And that somehow calling people the goat would be normalized over the sheep being always the most popular reference.
The reason information holds so much power is that it doesn't matter how people feel about the ritual. What matters is whether following it actually works. You might try to convince yourself that there's no ritual, but the evidence is obvious. So when I point out, these people are wearing dresses, everyone thinks I'm just fixated on that. It's not strange. Look at it from a different perspective. Show me one person in Hollywood who wore a dress and failed. You can't. That's how you start to recognize what a ritual really is.
In Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
About 20 years ago, I already had a sense of where things were heading. Not because I could see the future, but because I dug into so much material that I started to recognize patterns. Repeating over time, everything moves in cycles. Back then, one of the earliest places I came across the idea of transformation of identity was in old mythologies like the stories surrounding the figure of Baphomet, who was often depicted as embodying both masculine and feminine traits. In those legends, followers showed loyalty through symbolic rituals, and the text described certain gestures or acts tied to that devotion. So I figured that themes from those old stories would eventually resurface in modern culture. I also thought that the way people use certain labels like calling someone the GOAT would eventually become mainstream, even though sheep had always been the most common metaphor before.
Everybody's not the same. That's why when I said that, nobody came out and went, "That's not true. I'm on God's side." Like, none of them. The conversation was to show that there are spiritual things going on in the world, and that there are things that are bigger than just coincidence, and that a ritual is something that you do over and over and over again a certain way.
When you're out in Hollywood, you notice a lot of people just disappear from the spotlight. It feels like there's a pattern, almost like the system relies on pressure and psychological manipulation. It's as if the goal is to break people down, use their pain, and turn that into profit. They want to monetize and they want to traumatize. People aren't all operating from the same place. That's why, when I said what I said, nobody stepped up to dispute it by claiming they were on the side of righteousness. Not one. The whole point of the conversation was to show that there are spiritual forces at play in the world and that some events go far beyond simple coincidence. A ritual is just an action repeated the same way, again and again, with intention behind it.
I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to shoot you, bro. If you seeing this, forgive me, man. This is a true apology. I took a couple classes in there too.
Yeah.
Yep, Civilization University. I went to school for that.
It's cool.
Couple classes.
That's good growth, man. It's great to hear.
Now, going back to Blue's face tattoos, there are several theories floating around.
I'm sorry, man. I really didn't mean to shoot you. Bro, if you're watching this, I'm asking for forgiveness. I'm being real about it. I even took a few classes while I was inside seriously. Civilization University, that's what they called it. Picked up a couple courses there, that's real growth. Man, it's good to hear. Now, back to Blue's face tattoos. There are all kinds of theories floating around about what they might represent. One idea is that Blueface didn't choose this style himself, that the markings were done by others. Since the symbols seem so random and intentionally odd that people question whether they were really his decision. Another theory says the logos might not be random at all, but coded reference is understood only by industry insiders. Fans point out how celebrities going through public breakdowns often appear with dramatic changes that seem strange to the public but supposedly meaningful. Behind the scenes, Britney shaved her head. Kanye had his mask phase. Orlando Brown started speaking in ways no one could decode. And now Blueface shows up with corporate symbols across his face. It is the kind of thing that makes people wonder if there is a message being sent. Some conspiracy-minded viewers even claim the symbols might represent stages of a ritual rather than actual brand logos. Of course, it could all be much simpler. Maybe Blueface got into a conflict inside, and this was the result. Some fans think he might have gone along with it for his own safety. Whatever you believe, whether you think there is some deeper meaning or you think it was just part of prison life, the outcome is the same. Blueface looks and carries himself like a completely different person. You can look at him now and confidently say he is the same guy as before. Something shifted, and it changed everything about his energy.